Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode with the Struggling Hunters here in the Hunting Shack, where we give you tips and advice that may be worth nothing or may be worth everything. We're still trying to figure that out ourselves.
Yes, sir.
But that's what the shack is all about. Is like Eric likes to say, he's the guy sitting to my left.
That's me, Eric.
And I'm Joe, the guy on the other side.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, shucks. Yeah, thanks. So that's who we are, the Struggling Hunters. And like I said, we just sit down, do what Eric calls cuss and discuss, and things that we're trying to improve on as far as hunting goes, and maybe, I guess, in the hunting realm and outside the hunting realm. And if you haven't, go back and check out our last episode. We did a little bit of discussing different ways of e-scouting. Just following people are doing stuff in your activities. But we kind of go back and give that one a listen, and then jump back over, or listen to this first, then jump back over to that one. And you might learn something you didn't know before, because we sure did.
There you go.
But then again, this week's episode, we're just going to be discussing a little bit about e-scouting, like using the maps, and then one of the things I thought about, or kind of throw in what's been going on in our daily lives too. I don't know. I guess I can go first since I'm talking. Or are you tired of hearing me talking?
No, go ahead. Go a little bit further, Joe.
All right, I'll still the show still. Man, I'm tripping over my words. Susie selling seashells by the seashore.
Ooh, nice one.
Thanks.
Nice one.
But anyways, and kind of, I guess, in Struggling Hunters fashion, I thought I'd discuss a little bit more on setbacks during the week. For those of you that have been listening, I've been working on my truck. I should probably post some pictures of my truck on the old Instagram or something, huh? Yeah,
maybe do some shorts, some YouTube shorts.
I probably should.
Yeah.
Should have did it this last Saturday, to be honest with you.
When you were pulling your hair out?
Yeah, I was going through some real emotion. As much as I'm laughing about it now, I wasn't laughing then. So I got all the rest of the seals and stuff for my valves and everything to put my truck blew a head gasket. So I've been working on that the last month and a half and waiting on parts getting in. Finally got everything to where I could start putting like heads back together and starting to make it a truck again. And anyways, rented tools from the local auto parts store, started compressing my valve springs and put them back together, and it just would not go right. Like I'd compress them and then it would fall out of the tool, not fall, but fly out of the tool.
Oh man.
And it was kind of funny. So like it did it enough that like I could almost start knowing where the parts were going to land. Like I was doing it on the same bench, facing the same way, and they'd go flying, and I kind of knew where to look.
Right.
Like,
that's funny.
But I think I about put that truck up for sale about 20 times. Like I had some moments of solitude, where I reflect in the meaning of life.
Yeah.
Just getting frustrated, and it turned out that the tool I rented was worn out, and I had to put a washer on one part of it so that way it would kind of set correctly. And then once I figured that out, then I had to turn the piece of thread and then rotate it so that way the spring would stay level as it compressed. And then shoot, man, like I said, it was, I don't know, I know I'm talking in circles, but man, it was a lot of frustration, and I can't
kind of glad it's over.
Yeah, glad it's over.
So some of the reason that we actually talk about these though is because his truck is like the hunting truck,
right?
And we're planning on using it this hunting season. So he's been working his butt off for the last few months, 2 months, yeah. And he's been working his butt off and trying to get this thing to go before September. And then some of the other struggles that we've been dealing with is we were planning on kind of getting together a few nights during the week besides just doing the podcast and going out and target practicing with the bows and making content and doing the whole thing. And some of you guys probably heard some of this spill before, but for those that haven't, Joe's been working so much on his truck that it's been kind of a struggle to get together and do all that stuff. So been kind of patiently waiting for Joe to get, and I guess if I was a better friend, I'd go over and try to help him, but I think I'd just kind of get in his way. Maybe I'll go over one of these nights and make a few shorts.
Oh, and, there you go.
Yeah, that way you can focus on doing the truck, and then I can just do the hard stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
so then the other hard thing too is I ended up nicking one of my seals on the valve, and it's just one seal, and they typically come in like a pack of, I think, 8. So I had to do not a special order, but I had to get on the old interweb and just order one, and it won't get here till like Thursday or Friday.
Oh, really?
So I don't even have the heads on because I got to wait for this part to come.
Ah, don't you love waiting for stuff?
Right. Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. And then by the time you do get it here, you'll be like, what was I supposed to do?
Right. Well, that's like where it's at is I got everything, like the truck's completely torn apart, and I've been working on it for so long that I got to start watching videos on how to put it back together. So that way I put it together right.
You got to watch all the videos that you watch how to tear it apart in reverse.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's a bummer, man. That's a bummer.
So anyways, that was kind of the setbacks of the week, what I've been going through.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, when do you project to get it done?
Well, I was hoping it would be this weekend, but once I get all the parts, I foresee everything going smoothly because I don't have to get any more special tools. So, I think a good solid week of working on it after work, that it should be fairly put back together.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I had a little bit more of a relaxing weekend, really. I traveled to Denver with my wife.
Oh, that's right.
And yeah, we stayed at the hotel. We had a baby shower to go to, one of her old friends. So we just hung out and had a good time. Went out to eat. Got rid of the kids for a night. So it was a kind of a little bit of a vacation from a very short vacation, but it was fun, relaxing, and nice and.
Good.
And yeah, so that was pretty much that. And
so that was a setback of relaxing, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds rough.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was tough. That is part of the reason why the podcast didn't get put out until Monday. If some of you guys that watch often notice that, is because I took off for the weekend. I didn't get it edited ahead of time. So with that said, though, I mean, everything seemed to be pretty flawless. That was the first time that we did the last podcast with the mics, as you see here, and we did we kind of did everything. If you noticed, we kind of turned the table again and we're facing back toward the camera. Some of that is just the little bit of room that we got out here in the old studio, the old hunting shack. This might work better, but we're just trying different things to see, try to make the best content we can. So
I got to point out that I don't know if I should or not, but I noticed that in this direction that there's something that takes up your attention.
I look down at the audio thing a little bit more. I'll try to look at you and the camera a little bit more, but yeah. So I got the computer running here, so it's like, I don't know. I guess it's a little clunky, but
he likes watching the heartbeat of our voices on the monitor.
Yeah, I'm still doing it. I might have to turn it around or something, point it toward you so I don't look at it so much. But I guess it's kind of new and fancy or whatever, or it's new to us anyway. Right. So we're seeing how it all works and trying to put all this together trying to come up with better audio. You know, we're trying to really make this podcast flow. And I know this doesn't have a whole lot to do with hunting, but you know, it's part of our struggle. That was kind of the point, is it's part of our struggle to try to get to the next phase in this whole podcast, YouTube, hunting circle that we're trying to create. So, yeah, you know, we're just trying to make better moves and do what we can. And so with that said, guys, you know, I think it's kind of hard to ask sometimes. I mean, we ask you to like the video, comment if you can, but, you know, not saying that you have to or anything, but if you could, you know, should give some support and share the video with people that you might know that might like this kind of content, that'd be pretty great. It's you know, a little bit out of the, well, it's not out of the norm. I mean, we've asked for it before, but just kind of asking for it straight up front and being transparent about it, that we're just trying to grow and get to that next phase in the podcast hunting world. And we got a lot of stuff to provide for you guys, and so it makes it that much funner when we're getting thumbs up and shares. So just kind of asking for that, and that'd be great if you could help out with that. Moving on from there, I guess we could go into what we were doing tonight a little bit, going over OnX and trying to come up with a hunting plan for both of the hunts coming up this year. We have elk season coming up first in August. Or, sorry, not August, September. Yeah, the beginning of September.
Because like my wife was making plans and she's like, "Oh, you have something in August, or the hunt starts in August, right?" I was like, "No, I believe it's September because Utah was August."
I think
that's what's probably throwing us off.
I keep saying August for some reason because the last few years we've been talking about starting hunting in August.
Yeah.
Your hunt, but anyways, it's September that we're gonna be hunting, and the first one is elk. So one thing that we are gonna be doing is setting up some trail cameras at some point, and when we set those trail cameras up, tonight we were trying to figure out where we wanted to do it. We were on OnX doing some e-scouting, and
that was kind of fun and interesting. You know, just kind of looking at where the private land is and trying to decide if we can get to the other side. So that's like one of the things we got to continue on, is actually drive to some of these and see like what the access is like.
Yeah, see if we can get some access around some of the private.
Right.
Because you look at it from up top and you're like, oh, it's all covered with private, but there might be an access point that we're not really seeing.
Right. I think got to check it out, but I think if there's a road that goes through it without a gate, you're okay to access.
Right, that kind of makes sense. And there might very well be. So yeah, we've been kind of doing that and looking at a hunting plan. We got a couple different areas that we want to hunt. I think there's one that for the archery season, the one where we were turkey hunting, we kind of want to hit that for like maybe after work and you know, a few hours to kill after work kind of hunt. And then the other one is where we've always hunted. I think, I mean, it's kind of up for debate, but we're kind of leaning that way and trying to find some area to hunt there. And then we got my buck hunt in November that we're trying to figure out. And then Joe, I think, was talking about trying to do a bear tag in November. Because he obviously, because he's non-resident as of right now until next month, he didn't he won't be able to get he wasn't able to draw for a deer tag.
Well, I could have, man, my voice is cracking. Could have for a non-resident. There was that option, but I didn't want to.
Right. Okay, yeah. With that option, he could have done it that way, but as a resident, he wasn't able to draw for a buck. So he's gonna hunt with me, but he's probably gonna carry a bear tag while I'm gonna focus on the buck tag. And then during archery, I think I'm going to get a bear tag also, since I have the whole month to try to get an elk. If a bear happens to cross my path, I'm going to try. I'm going to go for it. Hopefully I don't miss like I did that elk last year. But that's another story. So, yeah, anyway, we were just kind of having fun looking at the OnX and trying to figure out what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go. And and kind of working with the layers and stuff.
Yeah.
We were doing it on the laptop, the thing that I keep looking down at.
Up here, Eric.
Up here. The camera's up here.
The eyes are up here.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so we were on the laptop looking at it, and so we it was kind of a different scenario rather than scrolling through the phone and doing everything that way. So kind of got to see some different stuff, I think.
Right. Yeah.
The one thing with the phone is it is a lot more, in my opinion, it's a lot more reactive to. I think you can see more on the laptop, but on the phone it's more reactive. I can scroll a little faster to where I want to go and stuff,
Right.
The computer has a short lag on it, but anyways, that's just like minute little things. But other than that, I mean, I think you can see more detail on the laptop. And
yeah, and like your topo lines aren't, I mean, you can see how close they are on your phone, but on a bigger screen it kind of gives you a little bit better projective of how close and how far those topo lines are.
Yeah, it's a little more
pronounced. I don't know if pronounced is even the right word.
I feel like it gives you a better idea what the terrain actually looks like.
Right.
I don't know if that's the right word that we were looking for, but yeah.
There's a word that fits better, but we're going to go with that for now.
Yeah, that works. That works. So, but and then
one of the other interesting things too is that that I did while me and Eric were there was we hopped on YouTube and I just typed in the unit we were hunting in the season and it popped up with fish and game information and some older videos of other people hunting in that area, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind whenever Joe started doing that. It's probably one of the smartest things I ever seen him do. He just typed in the unit that we're going to be hunting. I guess we're not quite as transparent as some people, but it is what it is. So you have to deal with it. But yeah, it was. I was like, Joe was typing it in. He's like, hunt unit. Did you already say the unit?
No, I never said the unit.
I didn't think you did. Anyway, he's the unit, and I was like, I never thought of doing that. That's a great idea, just to kind of get an idea of maybe how to hunt that unit and get a But it was a great idea. I blew my mind that you did that. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think probably the next step would be to go in and actually like just maybe type in that area and just see who else is putting stuff in there besides hunting people.
Oh yeah. I know what you're saying.
Hikes or something like that. Hiking, camping in whatever area.
Right. We kind of alluded to this. Or did we allude to it last week?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, about like being fan pages of like mountain bikers, hikers, or whatever on like Facebook or whatnot, right? Or Instagram even maybe, and then. If they like, saw a big bull or saw some big bucks or something.
I got to give credit to I think it was Hunting Fool because I listened to their podcast to
The Hunting Fool, right?
Hunting Fool, yeah.
You got to type in The Hunting Fool.
And they had a podcast on it, and I thought that was just kind of interesting. And I was like, we got to share it because we're all about getting as much information on an area as possible just to try to up our odds.
Right. And then also... I'm gonna be a little bit controversial here, but
oh boy,
you better hold on to your seatbelt. No, the nice thing about it though, the fun part is like possibly that hiker or mountain biker is an anti-hunter, and without him or her knowing it, they're actually helping us hunt. So I kind of like that idea,
Yeah.
Because then they got to live with that. So
right.
I don't know. I mean, I guess everybody has an opinion and everything, but
true.
But I kind of like to get under the old anti-hunter's skin and prove them wrong on all their ideas. I'm pretty sure there's not too many anti-hunters watching this podcast, so I'm sure nobody will get offended. And if you do,
sorry,
grow a pair.
Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
But yeah, so I mean that's kind of along those lines. It was just kind of fun. Fun isn't just maybe thinking of a topic that applies to your area and either YouTube search, Google search, or social search and just see if social media search, see if something comes up, which is kind of new in a way.
Yeah. It's definitely a different take on things. I never would have came up with that on my own.
I mean, either. And it's like one of those things, like, what do they say? You don't know what you don't know. And you think you could have probably, dawned on you to maybe do that previously, but you get so focused in on like hunting that you get tunnel vision, that you don't open your mind up. Maybe that's why we've been so unsuccessful over the years, is we've had tunnel vision on hunting, that we just go hunt what's in front of us, not fully take in what's around us.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think I've done that a few times myself. Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of the ways that I learned how to hunt when I was a kid didn't necessarily transfer to whenever I was an adult. Meaning, well, the biggest thing is the amount of hiking that I do now compared to whenever I was, like, my mentors were a little more favorable of the old steering wheel.
Right.
And so there's a lot of that. Uh-huh. And, or, even if we did get off the road and we were on the four-wheeler, we didn't leave the four-wheeler too far away from us. So there was like a lot of that kind of stuff, looking back. And I mean, just being on it, I would try to do whatever I could, but I would try to go hiking as much as possible, but that was kind of how I learned to hunt, and then there was always areas where you would see the white-tailed deer, and you're like, wow, we know they're in here or whatever.
Yeah. And kind of along those lines. So growing up in Idaho, like me and Eric did, we were, I think it was unit 10A and B and C or something like that.
Yeah, I believe it was 10A.
It was a huge unit. Like, it was
huge.
Sorry, guys. Water went down the wrong pipe. But, and that we'll say it, we'll probably keep saying it for the rest of our lives, but we were spoiled in the area that we got to hunt, and we didn't even know it.
100%. I think I could have, if I would have put in the effort that I put in now in Colorado, I really feel like I could have gotten much more success.
Well, not only were
gotten bigger bucks. That's the biggest thing.
The elk herds, this was, we left about the time the elk herds were taking over the area. But what I was trying to get at is one of the things that was so great is if you got a rifle tag and you didn't get your deer, you can just go get a black powder permit. And so you're hunting like November and December. Like, I didn't know quite what I was doing back then, but you get, I got to get an elk tag too, and you're hunting in that though. Anyways, where I was getting was, I was wanting to go do some more hunting, and I can't remember what grade we were in, but I got looking at the map. I was like, oh, that unit's still open in this area, and this was back before, all the internet stuff you can do now as far as maps, OnX and all that. I just had a paper map, and I don't know how, but I talked my dad into letting me and my brother. I think we skipped school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And just, we were in this little Ford Tempo car, and it was kind of a snowy day. I wish I could remember more of the day, but me and my brother took off like way early in the morning. I should ask my brother if he remembers that day. Because I remember, like, I think we got out of the car, and we kind of hiked around, but we didn't leave the car very far because it was kind of a snowy situation.
Yeah.
And a new area, and I didn't know where we were, and I can't even tell you where we were. But according to the map I was on, I think the other thing that kind of scared me is I wasn't sure if I was in the right area, so I didn't want to hunt too hard.
Right.
But just going back, God, I can't remember why I went down that road. Going down the road of that memory.
Another funny thing, I think it's, I don't know how funny it is, but another thing looking back on those times was in Idaho, you didn't have to wear any orange, which I see the dangers of that now, being older and better perspective, but I loved it back then. Like, I loved the fact that we didn't have to wear orange. I was like, well, how do you know, you're wearing all this orange. Like, of course you're not going to get a elk or a deer. But anyways, I don't know. That was, yeah, I don't know. I liked being in my camo. So, but speaking of that late season, so that was, and I'm probably a little bit vague on the rules on how it worked, but that was pretty cool. So like, you'd get your tag and you'd say, well, my preferred spot is like 10A, but essentially you could like hunt everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
And
then like it would change species. Like the 10A, like you'd hunt mule deer and whitetail, but then I think 10B or something like that, you could only hunt whitetail.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. And then the late season that Joe's talking about was kind of cool because the 10A hunting season would be over with in like in a course of like a month and a half. I
right.
think it was.
Yeah.
And then if you still didn't get nothing in that amount of time, there was a unit. I think they spread it around, but there'd be another unit, a late season unit, and your only qualification to do it you had to get there. That was the only qualification that you needed. Like, you didn't have to put in a special permit or do a special draw or nothing. It just had to get yourself there and you could hunt it. And so it was kind of crazy. Like, I might have that a little bit or backwards or not 100% right, but that's what I remember of it.
Right.
And it was so easy. It was so easy to hunt in Idaho. You know, I moved to Colorado and they're like, well, you got to get a blood sample and, you know, you got to do this, you got to do that. And you got to give up your first kid. And, you know, it's like a whole thing to hunt in Colorado. So,
yeah. Anyways, thanks guys for letting us go down that memory lane. Hopefully you guys, it wasn't too much of something that you haven't, that annoyed you too much, but we'll discuss more of it some more at some point too, I'm sure. But anyways, thanks for letting us go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to close with, Joe?
Not necessarily. I kind of got everything out of the way that I wanted to.
Well, I will get us out of here. I just wanted to say, you know, thanks guys for listening to us and doing all this. This time of year is kind of hard to come up with a lot of hunting content. I mean, I wish that I had more stuff to talk about, but we've kind of had a weird year this year, and so we're doing our best on that front, and we're gearing up for the elk hunt in a few months here and stuff, and we're getting excited for it. But you know, thanks for
one last question.
Everything, yes, go ahead.
I know we've talked about it, but have you written down your do's and don'ts that you want to do this year for the elk hunt? Like, meaning what you want to change about your elk hunt? You don't have to go into it right now. I'm just curious if you've done anything.
I don't want to leave the mountain empty-handed, and I do want to leave the mountain with a nice bull. Okay. That's my list so far.
That's his list. All right.
No, if I'm being honest, I haven't wrote my do's and don'ts. That's something that could probably do for next podcast and figure something out. So yeah, guys, I guess on the way out of here, thanks for giving us a listen. Thanks for supporting us the way you do. We appreciate you. And
yes,
like I kind of said toward the beginning of the podcast, hit that thumbs up, do a share. That'd be pretty huge. And subscribe. Also, comment on the podcast platform. If you listen to us on the podcast platform, that would also be pretty great. So with that said, guys, thanks for listening to another week of the Struggling Hunters in the Hunting Shack. We are out of here.
Bye.